What up, G-Life? It's your boy MC Shadow back at you with another video. Now, in my channel and in my videos, am I no way promoting or glorifying gang activity or any type of gang action. You get nothing out of the streets, and this is coming from a gang member. You get nothing from the streets except drama, bullshit. It's better to stay in school. You know what I mean? These videos are for educational and documented purposes and for awareness. So not for glorifying or promoting or none of that. You know what I mean? Now, with no further ado, let's get into it.
Shit, I'm on that main line. We keep it active, simply listo when it's game time. I put that OT for the bottom, how we earn stripes. Like catching enemies and leave them in a past life. Y por su lengua, that's the reason why they get sliced. They think they're tough, got the pedal and they drop dime. These fools are trapper, crave attention while they speak lies. But fuck the talking, ain't no evidence on this side. You're fucking with a straight demonio shit that don't hide.
What comes around, should we take flight? Nothing new, another day on this rough side.
But in El Vado, we don't talk, fool, we take flight. And when there's beef, fool, you know that it's on sight. Love and hate, boy, you know there's a thin line. Make the wrong pick it, flat line. Make the wrong pick it, flat line. We don't talk in the Vado, fool, we take flight. And when there's beef, fool, you know that it's on sight. Love and hate, boy, you know there's a thin line. Make the wrong pick it, flat line.
M.O.D. Entertainment presents.
What's good, G-Life? Now, as we make our way right here to the Inland Empire, the IE, we're going to be taking a trip to the area which is known as Casa Blanca. Casa Blanca, although a small area right here in the Inland Empire, it is home to several neighborhoods, not only Hispanic, but also black neighborhoods as well. And there's, I guess, a misunderstanding of the neighborhoods within this area. People think and ask, are they separate neighborhoods? Are they the same neighborhoods? You know, they mix them up. Now, they used to once be the same neighborhood. When we're talking about Casa Blanca Rifa, they used to be one whole neighborhood. They had cliques, you know, from the Evans to the Ferns. You know, because it's an old school barrio, you know, Casa Blanca, you know, been around already for a long time. You know what I mean? So there are, you know, a dominant presence, a well-known, well-documented neighborhood within this area. So they had several cliques, and there was a fallout between these cliques that ended up in tragedy. So it's the reason why the neighborhood had split into two different neighborhoods. That's only divided literally by Madison Street, because there used to be one whole area, but now it's just divided between the two sub cliques that became their own sub gangs. So we're going to be starting off with the one located on the west of Madison, which is the Casa Blanca Rifa, the Evans Streets, probably the largest out of the two. Now, the Evans Streets are located close to the Villegas Park. So everything Madison from that side, like what's Evans Street, obviously, you know, their main domain, their dojo, you know what I mean, all the way to Dolores Street, to Mendoza Way, all of that, you know, Bunker Street, you know, all of that is considered their barrio, all the way to Frida, to Sonora, to Lincoln Avenue, to Dorland, to Fiesta Avenue, Imperial Street, all the way heading already close to Washington Street. It's what's known as the Casa Blanca Evans Streets. You know what I mean? Like I said, large in numbers, you know, put in their work. You definitely see these guys up. Probably the most active ones out of the group. You know what I mean? Because they just have like a large amount of territory. You know what I mean? A bigger extensive amount of territory. Hey, but like I said, man, these guys are with the business. But like I said, it used to be one neighborhood, Casa Blanca Rifa, but you know, and they split into two. But that's which on this side of Madison is, you know, the Casa Blanca Rifa Evans Streets, and that's who they are and holding it down for theirs. Now, on the opposite end of Madison Street, you have the other Casa Blanca Rifa set, which is called the Fern Streets, which are a little bit more closer to the Casa Blanca Gangster Cribs. You know what I mean? That stay right there, neck and neck towards their hood. You know what I mean? And Casa Blanca Fern Street is located, like their turf was considered, you know, on the opposite end of Madison on Evans, you know, to Grace, to Peter Street, to Fern Avenue, obviously being their main dojo. And even though it's an avenue, they write street, you know, because technically it is a street. That's pretty much how it goes down. You know, like Fern and Carey Street is where you can find them also, close to the Victoria Heights apartments. Is where you can find this barrio doing their thing, you know what I mean? And they extend all the way to Jefferson Street, you know what I mean? So they do have, you know, a decent sized chunk of territory. But not as big as the Evans though. But, you know, nonetheless, you know, still there because, like I said, they're from Lincoln Avenue to Madison to Evans Street, and all the way to Jefferson Street. So that's what's considered the Fern's territory, obviously right there on Fern Avenue. It's where you can find this one. And even though they're smaller, they handle their business. They still do their thing. They get it cracking, homie. You know what I mean? Don't ever get it twisted. These guys do their thing. You know, they ain't no suckers. But yeah, that's what's up with the Casa Blanca Rifa neighborhood. Used to be one whole neighborhood that split into two. So that's why people get it confused. And no, they have no connection to the other Casa Blanca neighborhood or to the cribs or none of that. You know, I was seeing somebody try to say that they were the same ones as the Cribs gang. Like, I don't even know where they came up with that one. They're two different neighborhoods. You know what I mean? They have nothing to do with each other. They're their own neighborhood. Like I said, there used to be one united neighborhood, you know, that just, you know, fell off and been clashing ever since. But that's what's up with the Fern Streets right there. Now, here's another neighborhood that roughly always gets confused with the Casa Blanca Rifa neighborhoods, but it's its own different neighborhood on itself. Hasn't been around as long as, you know, the Casa Blanca Rifa neighborhoods, but nonetheless, you know, they are a real neighborhood. They do their thing, you know what I'm saying? Now their chunk of territory is a little bit more smaller, but you can find them was Jefferson to Indiana, from Indiana to Madison, and from Madison all the way to Railroad Avenue. So just you know, it's not that large of chunk of territory, you know. By Windstorm Street is where you can find them, you know, throughout the cul-de-sac, throughout the car wash, by that area, you know what I mean? Is where you can find this neighborhood. So, you know, Casa Blanca Street and Windstorm is their barrio. But yeah, that's a Casa Blanca Street. So it's not the same as the rest that write Casa Blanca Rifa and their sub-click. This one is Casa Blanca Street. That is the difference. This one's named after the street that stretches throughout their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Throughout all those homes and area that's like I said, it's not a big chunk of territory, but nonetheless still theirs, you know what I mean? All the way to so it's Casa Blanca Street and all the way to Rica Street, you know, is where you can find them. Like I said, throughout Depot Street, all of that's their barrio, all the way to Madison, by the Johnny's Burger, close to that. All of that is what's considered the Casa Blanca Street. And they're not as large as, you know, because Casa Blanca in itself is not a big area, you know, a little bit more smaller than the more dominant older gang being the, you know, Casa Blanca Rifa, you know, just makes it tough for expansion. But nonetheless, this neighborhood still has members, still has its riders, still be putting it down for theirs, you know what I mean? And still hold it down and representing, you know, and obviously going at it with the other Casa Blanca neighborhoods. That's just how it goes. But yeah, they have no connection, at least this one, to those. But that's what's up with the Casa Blanca Street, holding it down right here for theirs. Now, also right here in the Alien Empire, close to the Casa Blanca's neighborhood, we have one of these roughly smaller neighborhoods. You know, you roughly didn't see them up as much as some of these other neighborhoods. They were always a small neighborhood, but nonetheless a real barrio. Even though people will probably want to say what they want in the comments. Like I said, let me bring the facts. They were always a small neighborhood, so you roughly don't see them up as much. They were never big in numbers, but still did their thing. It is the barrio Lenton, you know, Barrio Lenton, or L13. His neighborhood, it had a big chunk of territory, but like I said, they were just never big in numbers. But their neighborhood is right there. What's Monroe Street to Lincoln to Jackson Street, Jackson to Indiana Avenue. So everything in the middle is what's considered their neighborhood. Throughout Haskell, throughout Merlin Street, throughout Shannon Avenue, Amber Street, Arrowhead Street, all of that section throughout Starsborn Drive, all of that was considered their barrio. Close to the Arlington High School. Is where you were able to find the Linton, 13. That L13 is how you see it written. Like I said, roughly smaller numbers. I was told that they were roughly no more than 30 heads. But they still did their thing, you know what I mean? Have homies that are busted and continue to represent for theirs, but that's what's up with the Linton neighborhood, holding it down for theirs.